Hello, John Bloodworth, Gentleman Crafter here with more adventures in machine embroidery. This week I wanted to show you how I digitized something similar to this gnome guy. Basically, I also wanted to try out some of the hand stitch effects and combine those with other bits and pieces. So let's dig in and let's take a look. Okay, let's get started by loading the artwork. So I'm going to load the gnome. There he is, and I will lock him in place. I think I'll make a start by doing his bubble. So I'll open the Digitize toolbox, select the circle, choose Fill. I'm going to apply the hand stitch effect and the radial effect. And we'll go with, let's say, satin. So click to set the center of the circle, drag it out and press enter twice. And let's double check those settings. So I had to reapply the radial fill. And let's drop that down a bit. That looks good to me. Now for the effects, I'm going to apply the hand stitch I've already done. I'm going to change the length to 5. I'm going to apply the feather edge. Increase it to medium with a max width of 3. And for the stitching, the underlay, I'm going to use a zigzag twice. That's so that basically it doesn't pull in from all of the edges. Hopefully it'll work. We'll see in the end. Zoom out to the design. I'll leave that colour as it is for now. Let's tackle the hat next. So digitize, this one I'm going to do as a freehand, no I'm not, I'm going to digitize blocks so that I get a bit of an angle going on in it. I'm going to turn the hand stitching off for now and also the radial stitch. I'll apply the trim, choose a random colour and choose this tatami stitch. Let's go for this one, number 28. Okay, zoom in, and I'll start just inside the moustache area. Set my first point, second point, and then I'm basically working my way up with right clicks because they will give me curved edges. And I'm just trying to introduce a little bit of variation in the angles, as you can see. And then when I get to the end, press enter and that should put everything in for me. Okay, it's kind of worked. Not the exact result that I would have gone for, but let's try a different pattern. That kind of works. I'm always at risk of just fiddling for hours. Okay, I think I like that one. But I'm going to go to my reshape tool, so that's keyboard shortcut H, and just play around with those angles a bit more so that I can accentuate that curvature. Looks better. Now I'll go into the effects and apply the hand stitch, and I'm going to choose a length of 2, an angle of 5, maybe 3. I'll leave the count at 1 and the randomness at 2, and the variation of 3. There we go, he's kind of got his hat. Maybe I'll change that back to 1. Yes. Now I want him to go behind the bubbles, so I'll move him up the stack in the sequence panel. And let's very quickly do the boots. They're going to be fairly simple. Zoom in, digitize. Let's go for a freehand close shape. Let's give him black boots. And let's go back to the number 1 tatami stitch. Excuse me. I will start up here and then just trace around that boot outline loosely. Oops, very loosely. Go to the reshape tool and just make some small adjustments. And I kind of like this angle as it is already, so I'm not going to make any adjustments to that. And then we'll go to the Layouts toolbox, choose Mirror Copy Horizontal, so that we can get the second copy, his other boot. Go to the design. Now they need to be stitched first, so they're going right to the top of the stack. Now I've kind of covered his face, so I'm going to need to hide all of these bits. Select them all in the Sequence tab and choose Hide Selected. Now for the nose, I am going to choose the circle option, choose the pink colour, and choose 3D satin stitch. Try and find roughly the centre of the nose. Drag it down until we've got a circle about the size of the nose. Left click, and then we can drag out to the right or left to give us the oval shape. Press enter to set that in place, and we've now got his nose. Just move it down a little bit. So that was quick and easy. Let's have a go next at the moustache. So I think I'll go for freehand closed shape again. Actually no, I'll go for freehand open shape this time around. Choose a greyish colour. And I'm just going to trace, as I did before, along that line. Now because it's an open shape, I will only at this stage have an outline stitch. But there's a little trick within Hat that we can use. So I go back to my selection, right click on it, and then close shape with curved line, and it will close it up, meaning I could then apply a fill. In effects, I am going to apply a Florentine effect, which gives us the curved stitching. I'm going to drag the central one down, the left hand one to the tip of the moustache, and yeah, that one just about there, and I'll leave that at that. Go to the Create Layouts toolbox, Mirror Copy Horizontal, drag this over till it's about central, Click, and then when it says do you want to merge overlapped shapes, click yes. And now we've got the perfect mirrored moustache. Send that above the nose so it sits behind it. And we'll zoom back out. Now the beard, we need to go back to our digitizing tools. Again, I think I'm going to use the freehand open shape. No, actually, I'll use the freehand closed shape. Let's grab the same grey. We'll use the same tatami stitch. Actually, no, I won't. I will use number 65. You'll see why, hopefully. Let's zoom in a bit. And let's make a start. So very similar to the freehand open shape, we're literally just tracing that shape, holding down the left hand mouse button. Doesn't matter if you go a bit wibbly wobbly, you can always fix it later. And I'm only going to go to the center of his beard, around about here, and then I'm just going to bring that up till somewhere in the nose and close that off. Now, when the screen moved, it kind of added a couple of extra points here, so I'm just going to drag a selection box over those and press delete to get rid of them. And then I'm just going to see if I like this. Yes, I do. What I'm going to do though is remove stitch angles and then add stitch angles, and I'm just going to put a line from top to bottom at 90 degrees. Press enter to set that in place. And you can see the beard is now sort of hanging down. That's good, but he's only got half a beard. So, create layouts, mirror copy horizontal, drag that over till it kind of mirrors in the right place. Click, and yes. He needs to go behind the nose and behind the moustache, so it goes up to above the moustache in the stack. And then let's unhide everything else and see where we're at. Okay, so we have here our gnome, but I want to continue adding some of that hand stitching effect. So over in the effects, hand stitch, length, I'm going to set this to 2, I think. An angle of 3, count of 3, so that's adding extra stitches and making it bulkier. Randomize those, and I think I might just play around with that Florentine effect a little bit. Can't quite see where the other bits are. Let's turn it off and on. That might help. There we go, that's some nice detail going on there. I'm going to apply the hand stitch effect to the beard. This time I'm going to leave the settings as they are, as standard. And I'm not actually going to apply the hand stitch effect to the boots, I'll just leave them as they are. So let's hide the reference picture so we can see just our gnome. And what I will say is I've now got this heavy stitching sitting on top of this heavy stitching and so on and so forth. So we need to do something about that. So I'm going to select the first thing that overlaps anything, which is this bubble. I'm going to go to Edit, click on Remove Overlaps. It's only done a tiny little bit, but it'll help. The beard I'm then going to select and click on Remove Overlaps. You can see it's taken out a little bit of a chunk from the hat. Then the moustache, again, remove overlaps, and it's given me the nice bit for the beard. And then super dense stitching with the nose, definitely need to remove any overlaps for that. So that's chopped off a bit of the moustache and the beard. That helps us with density, and also it helps massively with stitch count. So let's run that through the stitch player and see how it goes. Okay, so that looks okay to me, no major issues that I've noticed, so I'm going to head over to the embroidery machine, stitch that out, and I will join you back here when I've done it. And here is the wee guy all stitched out. Now I did make a couple of changes to the original design. I reduced the density on the moustache, as I found that actually ended up breaking my needle on this occasion. And I also changed the nose from a 3D satin stitch to a tatami stitch. Other than that, everything's pretty much as it was. Don't forget you can download the EMB file from my website, gentlemancrafter.com, and of course I will include the outline image as well, so you can give this a go yourself. If you found this video useful, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for future content. In the meantime, thanks for watching.